Hello and welcome back everybody to Moneyball. It feels so good to say that we're so back. We are so back in this series. We're going to be doing our Moneyball summer transfer window process here together right now. We're going to go through and see what we can do. First thing is we are going to get the filters. So I've now got all my Moneyball filters here ready to go for the search. We're actually going to start with strikers and work our way backwards. So we're going to go with the strikers first. It's already preloaded in. These are basically all of the Moneyball stats that you saw in the spreadsheet. This is all of them already preloaded in. To do that, I mean, just downloading the filters that I've set up for you should be enough. I had to do this on myself and then save it, essentially. As you can see, after loading up the stats, and I've only tweaked a few already, Erling Haaland is there front and centre. That was the player that one of the stats was based on. So yet again, in this save, he's hit very close to the metrics that he hit the last time, which is quite interesting. In fact, should we have a quick look at the other leagues and see who did what? Premier League, City did win the Premier League. Our friends, our family club Brighton, you can't see this right this second, Brighton did finish 7th and they get themselves into the UEFA Europa Conference League, so fair play to them. In La Liga, Real Madrid finished 2nd, so Barcelona actually won the league this time. Again, I'm in the way here. So Barcelona won the league, Real Madrid finished 2nd. That's quite interesting to see there. Serie A, AC Milan won their league. French, I'm sure PSG won the... Yeah, there you go. I mean, front and centre. PSG easily winning that by 30 points. Christ, 30 points in 34-game season. That's quite impressive. Bundesliga, we see Bayern win the league. Of course we do. And just look at the second tier. That was your second tier in Belgium for those of you that are interested in seeing who goes up and all that kind of stuff. So those are your league tables around the grounds, as it were, around the countries, around the leagues. So back to the player search. For the stats that we're looking for, not a single player that is realistic for us is showing up here. Now, to be fair, I haven't got my scouting network set up properly, and the reason I haven't done it yet is because when I went to look at recruiting scouts, they only give me 4. I mean, 4 isn't really enough for the way that I set it up. I mean, I can get it started. So what I like to do with the scouting is have one scout in every pretty much realistic place where you can expect to sign players, have a scout there scouting continuously and looking for players pretty much under the age of 23, but 24, 25, something like that maybe we could do for this save, and just continuously scouting there. So they've given me nowhere near enough scouts to be able to set up the scouting the way I'd like it, so we're probably not going to get as many populated players as I would have hoped for, but it should still be fine. We should still be able to get enough players from this, but we'll see. We'll carry on. Okay, so I have dropped some of the stats here to try and populate some more players. So I've dropped like average minutes per goal, I've whacked up to 200 because which is up to just the next sort of tier up. I've dropped the XG performance just down to 0. Conversion ratio I've dropped to 18%, and shot on target ratio just down to 51. Headers per night I've kept header one ratio at 20, because don't forget our current striker's only got, I think it's 3 or 7, is it something like that? And we'll get rid of this, I think, as well. So generally most things will be similar, and although we've got rid of some and lowered some, it doesn't mean now that the difference is now nobody has come up in our search where we can just almost blindly sign them. They've hit all our metrics so we can sign them. That hasn't really happened. So we then have to make sure that when we look at players here, we cross-reference them to the stats, right? That's what we need to be careful of here. So I've just made sure I've got the Moneyball number up next to me. How you sort it can depend on, I guess, whichever you like, really. Whichever category you would like. For me, it's different for different positions. So for the strikers, I like to sort it by minutes per goal. And then just be very careful that when you're looking at players, there's 2 things to look at. One is the appearances. So I set the minimum to 10, because anything below 10 is just a non-starter. I just ignore it. But like the first player here has only got 2 starts, so I'm going to roll him out immediately. And then from here on in, you can sort of look at it. But I think what's very important is you've got to cross-reference the standard of football, right? So if somebody's hitting these stats, but they're playing in the, a tier 10 of a nation, it's not quite the same thing, is it? So we have to be very careful of this. Okay, so I've just tweaked a few more of the stats, actually, just to make a bit of a longer list. And this player here has captured my attention. Matías Povera plays in the Argentine national division. So he's got a non-penalty XG of 0.40. We're looking for 0.59, so not too bad. Extra performance of 3 we're looking for 8. But as you can see, 3 is actually, you can compare it to the players around him, is actually quite good. Minutes per goal is very interesting. 126. We're looking for 124. Conversion ratio, we're looking for 19.67. He's hitting 19. I mean, he looks like he's hitting pretty much every single number across the board. There's a couple that he's slightly lower on, but he's actually hitting quite across the board. He's playing in a top tier of a country. Not too many starts, but lots of appearances and lots of minutes played. So we're going to give him a scout and see how it comes back. But he looks like quite a good option and something different to what we have already at striker. When circling back to the top, we've got Dembo Darbo from the UAE Professional League. I mean, he's hitting a lot of good metrics. He's not started that many matches, but again, has got a lot of minutes played because he's had a lot of sub appearances too. He's worth a scout, I think, is what will determine him as, but standard football we're not too sure about, so we'll just scout him and see how it comes back. Okay, so Daniel Carlsbach, a Norwegian player, striker, or says he plays striker. Did he play striker the entire season, though? So he played some games on the wing, which makes his scoring rate even more impressive, doesn't it? So you've got to factor that in, right, is that, yeah, again, he's probably slightly lower on the starts than I would like, but probably just about gets the minimum amount of minutes. But he's got a very, very good record from a very, very low opportunities from a striker, because he played quite a lot of matches there on the wing. So again, somebody to scout. None of the three so far I would hang my hat on and say like they're going to be the one, but they're worth a scout to see what comes back, I guess, and see what the scouts think of the players. But going on stats so far, I would say the Argentinian striker so far is the one of the three that I would look at the most. But Carlsbach is like maybe worth a chance for... We talked about having bigger wingers that can score goals. Maybe even fits in as a hybrid winger and striker, because he's sort of hitting both metrics there. Let's have a look actually while we're here. Just take a look at the winger stats. What's he got here? I mean, what worries me about him, he hasn't completed a single cross the entire season. He hasn't managed to complete a single cross. So he's very much a dribbling, goal-scoring winger. Good. What's his header-win ratio? 45. I mean, he's worth a go. He's definitely worth somebody to keep an eye on. Okay, so Mateus from the Portuguese Premier League, 27 years old. Again, a bit low on the starts, but minutes per goal is very good. He's played at a very decent level of football. Where did they finish? They finished 11th. So he played for a mid-table side. Wasn't the starting striker, but had a pretty good goals return ratio. So, again, somebody worth keeping an eye on, worth scouting, and worth keeping as an option, because right this second, I don't know if there is going to be somebody we find when we go there the one. So we're going to make sure we scout all these players, note them all down, put them on the short list, and they'll make our decision later. And I'll basically go off of the hierarchy of positional need, right? So the most important thing for me is central fielder, then it's probably wing back, and then it's going to be striker. So if after the first two signings, there's enough money to get our number one target for the striker, we just get the number one target. But it might be that after the money that's left over, we can only get our number three target, 3 or 5, for example. So that's what I'm factoring in here as we go through, is just getting them on the shortlist, really get them scouted. The other thing to know about him, contract is up at the end of the season, so that would be a free transfer potentially for us, which is looking at transfer budget and wage budget, it could be a very cost-effective signing for us. We've got the final player here is going to be Bartosz Bialek. I think how we're going to pronounce this. Free transfer potentially again, by the way. This is quite exciting. There's potentially yet another free transfer we could sign. And I'm getting excited because we need some free transfers. So we played in our own division last season, playing for Eupen, who ended up in the relegation. So he managed to score. He managed to get the stats that he got in a team that basically got relegated. So we've got to factor in to his stats the fact that he's not going to be able to get the same stats you wouldn't think as a Haaland, because Haaland plays in a team that wins more often than they don't, gets to later stages of competitions, whereas this player here is playing in a team that probably don't have much possession, don't create as many chances per game, has less opportunity to score. In this situation, there are certain stats that we can look to ignore. So shots per 90, minutes per goal, you can probably factor out a little bit more because he's not going to score as many goals as you would hope. But then what we're looking for is shot on target ratio and conversion ratio. If they are high, but minutes per goal are low, it could just be the opportunities that he's getting, right? So let's take a look at this. So what is the conversion ratio that we need? We're looking for 19, right? We're looking for 19. And there you go. He's hitting 20%. So what that tells me, he would be hitting our Moneyball numbers if he was playing in a team that was more successful. So we can sort of don't completely disregard stats, I guess, but we can definitely look to prioritize ones over the others. So for me here, this is a very good example. When you apply logic to the stats, plays in a relegation battling team, isn't going to get as many goals. He's got 11 and 26. His minutes per goal 195, which is well over the 124. But his conversion ratio is, if anything, it's actually higher, isn't it? Conversion ratio is higher. Shot on target ratio is 55, and we're looking for 55. So he's bang on conversion ratio. He's bang on shots on target. I think he's the one, because he's also, don't forget, even better than all of those things, he's getting these stats in our own division. So think about standard of football. He's got to be the one, I think, for the striker position. He's also a free transfer. There isn't a single negative to that transfer, because the valuation, you might say, is then a problem, but he's a free transfer, so we better get on to this early. We've got a couple of teams to compete with us here for his signature. So, yeah, I think he could be the one. He's my number one target for the striker position. I need to try and get this wage budget down as soon as I can to be able to offer him a decent contract. So we need to get some players out the door really fast, because that's a really good deal there if we can get it. Okay, moving on to wingers now. There aren't too many wingers to show you. In fact, there's 0. So we'll tweak some of these stats, see if we can get to populate here. So just dropping the dribbles per 90 does give us a few players, but actually, do you know what? I haven't done those stats, the appearances yet. Okay, so the first winger that I've been able to find is a player called Kian Kianak. Kian Kianak, or Chanak? I guess it's Chanak, isn't it? Kian Chanak plays in the Belgian Pro League second tier. So he plays in the second tier in Belgium, so the tier below ourselves. And the stats that we are looking for wingers, dribbles per 90 is quite high. I think it's at 4. So I always factor that in a little bit because they could be down to the player role. We've seen that already with the player roles, right? How different it could be. So 2.62, cross completion is 28%. We're looking for 16. Sprints per 90, we're looking for 14. He's at 11. Open play key passes, we're looking 1.5. That's exactly what he's got. Chances created per 90. He's got 0.40. We're looking for 0.48. He's pretty close on that. He's pretty close on a lot of the metrics. And then crucially for me, his conversion ratio is good too. So I really like the look of this guy. We're definitely going to be taking a look at him because he looks like he could be quite a decent option. Relatively cheap too, I think. But we'll see. Getting the scouts to go and scout them more will be good for like making sure the valuation predictions are correct as well. So, yeah, we'll see if we can get that down a bit. Hopefully we can get him down for a bit cheaper than that. But that looks like that could be a pretty good deal. Ivan Chapela plays in the second tier in Spain. 9 goals. Does he play wide or does he play as a striker? That's the question. No, he played wide. Okay. Okay, no, double checked. He does play wide. He did play wide for his club. So to get these stats playing as a winger is quite impressive, right? So he's got 9 goals, 1 assist, dribbles per 90 of 2.39, cross completion of 19%, sprints per 90 are pretty good too. Play key passes is slightly lower. Progressive passes is 2.41. That's not that great. Shot on target ratio is above, and conversion ratio is above. That is the second player I've looked at there. I'm looking at him thinking he could be really good. That's another really good option for us there. Mariano, very similar to the players, plays in the Argentine second tier. Not too sure about the standards here, but I'd give him a scout anyway too. Okay, so number 10s aren't really showing too many players. I'm just going to mess with some of the stats here. What should we drop? I think maybe high intensity sprints could probably just go. We can get rid of that. Progressive passes, we could drop that to like maybe 2.75. The conversion ratio could drop by 1. Shot on target ratio could drop to a few points as well. Let's give us a few more. So Martin Campos is a player in the Argentine second tier. Again, the Argentine second tier, I'm not too sure about the... And when I say I'm not too sure, it might actually be fine. I'm saying I'm just not too sure. We'll see what we think at the end of the day. But yeah, like his passes completed per 90 are quite low from the number 10 position, I think. We're looking for like 43, but like I said, the reason I've completely got it off the list is passes completed per 90, pass completion ratio. I'm not too bothered about number 10s. Look, I'm just not too bothered about number 10s doing that. So we're going to give him a scout and see how he comes back because he looks pretty good. He matches us for, open play key passes per 90. We're looking for 1.6. He's well above that, right? At 1.88. So he's looking pretty good for that. Chances created per 90, 0.38. We are looking for 0.58 is slightly lower on that. Progressive passes is 4.15. We're looking for 3 point something here. So he's got some that he's quite high on, and some maybe he's not quite as high on for the baselines, but looks like a pretty good option. I'm really trying to look through it because we definitely need a number 10 like this year. It's definitely something that we need. So I'm just going through still, trying to look for somebody else. Potentially a really good signing here because his wages are £1,500 a week, which gives us a good chance. Brian Farioli plays in the Argentine top tier, has his stats are the following. Open play key passes per 90, 1.41. Which is close. Chances created per 90, 0.58, which again is really, really close. In fact, if anything, that's actually bang on. That's bang on to what we need. Progressive passes per 90 are pretty close too. He looks like a pretty good option. He's hitting some of the metrics, maybe not all of them, but he's hitting really close on the ones where he's slightly below, and he's hitting others too. His pass completion is also really high, so, there is that as well. He looks like he could be a really good creative player that, maintains a lot of the ball, so I think he could be the one. Wanted by a few teams, so we need to be quick and move on to get him. Okay, so moving on to pivot players we're going to look at here. So, I don't have to look. I know that these players have all hit the metrics across the board because all I've changed here is passes completed per 90. That's the only thing I've actually dropped to. I dropped it from 50 to 40 because it's the next thing down. So we need to just be careful of that. But these are the players at the high end of that. But I know that, just to double check it, like a pass completion 91, we're looking for 87. Tackle win ratio 73 is what we need. He's got 77. Tackles per, We need 2. Actually, he's a bit low on that, isn't he? He's on 1.5. Must have lowered that one as well there. So he's tiny bit lower on that. But generally, they're getting me very close across the board here on this one. So I'm not too worried about it. We can pretty much freely scout these players if they match a similar standard of football. But David van der Berg looks pretty good. I love the fact he's got such high progressive passes. What we're looking for here, 5.2 is what we're looking for. So he's actually hitting that as well, which is very impressive. So he's got very good progressive passes. Passes completed per 90 is really close. And then pass completion is really high as well. So he looks like a really good option. What's his injury for? 3. Okay, that's fine. He'll be back in time. That's another good option there. Matthias Hansen, my only fear with him is I think he's going to cost us a lot of money in transfer money, so I don't think he's going to be an option, but he's hitting across the board, again, hitting all the metrics that we sort of want. Interceptions per tackles per 90, 1.9. Yeah, looks pretty good. Possessions 1, 13. I mean, he's above that too, which is impressive. Okay, so this could be our sort of rogue signing for being very, very cost effective. He's only on $2.5 a week, and he's only worth up to 150 grand. Is his contract up? Is his contract up? It is. That's why he's so cheap, I think, because his pass completion is relatively close. We know that the pass completion is going to be a bit lower because that's what I've had to mark down. We need 50, he's only got 43. Progressive passes, though, is above. Possessions 1's the next thing I like to look at. He's a bit lower on that. So maybe he's more of a passing, more of a creative defensive field player. So we'll look to bring him in. I think if we were to ever to go to 2 pivots in our formation, having Puertas next to him would be a really good partnership too. That's some pretty good options there. Now, I normally do go and scout and highlight way more players per transfer window, but because of this one, I already know my transfer budget is going to be relatively limited, so I'm only really going after a few players in this first one. But the players that we keep on the database, we'll keep them until they're like 27, 28 years old, and we've kind of moved to a level where we're not going to sign them. They'll just stay on there, and effectively our shortlist becomes our database of players because we know at least at some point they hit the stats that we needed. Then what we can look at is, let's say we look at a player in 2 years' time. We can cross-reference their stats and see, are they still hitting the stats? And if not, we could go through each season if we wanted to and say, okay, 4 years later, they're nowhere near the stats now, but is that because that's an outlier and they have been hitting the stats, or vice versa? Right? These are the things that we can do. These are things that we can do going forwards. Next is wing backs. This is really important, especially trying to sign a left back. Okay, so Facundo Leiva here looks pretty good, doesn't he? He's got dribbles per 90 of 2.19, and we're looking for just 2. 2 is fine. Cross completion of 34%. We're only looking for someone with 15. That's over double, of course. We're looking for open play key passes of 0.92. He's above that. Chances created per 90, 0.22. He's got 0.20. Progressive passes, he is just below that, but he's basically hitting it. It's very close. Tackle win ratio is above. Header 1 ratio, which is almost a bonus at this point because he's hitting everything else is slightly low, but that's fine. He is a very, very good, genuine attacking left-back option, but from the Argentine second division again. So we're going to scout him, but that could be a really good option. Jose Bolivar is another player that I've just scouted there who looks like he could be a good option too. Miguel Pereira, now the difference with him is he's hitting some good stats too, but he's playing in the Portuguese Premier League. So comparing standard to standard, we're the top division in Belgium, they're the top division in Portugal. Very similar standard of football. So dribbles per 90, he's hitting that mark. Cross completion, he's hitting that. Open play key passes per 90, he is only a tiny bit low. Chances created per 90, tiny bit low. Progressive passes per 90, he is above. So he's actually relatively good in possession. I quite like the look of him, actually. Possessions 1, he's a bit low on, but I like the look of Matthias Pereira too. Okay, so look at centre backs. There isn't too many options, to be fair. Look at the stats that I'm trying to look for. We've got a player in both the Japanese and the Colombian second division, respectively. So 2 second-tier players from other countries that, if nothing else, they might be fine. But I'm hoping to get somebody from a top tier if we can. And right on cue, we have Brian Ceballos, or Caballos, not quite sure how we're going with this, but tackle ratio is 84%, and we're looking for 77, so he's easily above that, which is good. Tackles per 90, he's above that. Key tackles per 90, 0.25, and he's 0.28, he's very, very close on that. Interceptions per 90 is slightly low on, but like interceptions per 90 and tackles per 90, and these things like this can be determined by the playing style of your team, where you are in reference of your team compared to the rest of the division. So I think overall, if their possessions 1 per 90 are relatively good, then it's fine. And in his case, we need a possessions 1 per 90 of 16. And he's got 17. So that's exactly what I mean, right? I have no problem with them being low on tackles per 90 or higher on interceptions, as long as the possessions 1 is relatively sane. And I don't even need to hit the possessions 1, as long as they're within the ballpark, right? But being above it is great. So he's a really good option, playing at a top tier as well. So we'll get him scouted. Okay, so the next thing to look at for us is to look at who we're going to sell. Now, this is going to be something that we really need to generate some funds here and probably get some players off the wage bill. And there's not too many, is there? I mean, my hope is that he'll get a big offer. If I was to try and, I mean, that's not looking great, is it? I'm going to transfer list him because I just want to see what offers we can get for him. We're going to transfer list some players, maybe upset them as well. Kevin Rodriguez was great, but I mean, yeah, he's got a lot of interest. We could probably try and start a bidding war for him. I don't really want to do this, but I feel like that we're going to have to lose our better players to sort of recreate them in the aggregate a little bit. So I'm going to transfer list a few players and just see what sort of offers we can get for them. Kevin McAllister, I don't really want to sell. Puertas. There's a few players down that I don't really want to let go if I can avoid it. I mean, so Amani here doesn't want to sign a new contract because he's currently unhappy. What is he happy about? Treatment of Anthony Morris, who's the goalkeeper, is going to be gone anyway. So, I mean, yeah, great. I don't want to sell him, but maybe he's going to have to go. We'll transfer this and see what offers we get. I think we'll just have to do that for him as well. It would take a lot for me to sell him. Like, that's nowhere near good enough. I would need at least like 8.59 million up front for me to sell him. Kevin McAllister, I just don't see any of these players having an offer that's going to be interesting to me. Maybe I think he didn't play much, did he? I look at Alessio Castro Montes here. Go back to the main view. He started 18 matches, I suppose. He was used a lot as a sub. But like, you can't be in the top few players of wages being paid and then not be a starting player. So I'm probably going to just whack him on the transfer list as well. Not leaving ourselves a lot of homegrown players here, by the way. But, I mean, we're just going to go with a really small squad, then it doesn't really matter. So I suppose there's that. But let's see what comes back from the offers and see where we end up with that. By the way, so when it comes to attribute reveals, I've decided that for this year it doesn't matter anyway because we've not sold anybody that we were really using. So it doesn't matter for this season. If I'm going to do an attribute reveal at the end of every season, it'll be the end of next season, and it'll be for everybody that we sold in this transfer, if that makes any sense. Because the players that we sold this season are going to be players that we did use and see ourselves. It's either that or I can do it in a few years in advance. Do let me know as to what you think on that. But we'll carry on and see what we can get rid of here. So these are our opening offers for Kevin Rodriguez. There's some pretty good offers there. I've got to be honest. I'm actually quite impressed with this. I'm actually quite happy with this. If we ask from them, if we go like 7.5, no, I'm going to give me that. Are you going to give me 7? 5.75. Tell you what, let's just reject everybody and let's ask for 7.5 from somebody and see what we get there. I don't want to negotiate that in case they say no. So I'm just going to accept the 4.3 and then I'm going to try and ask 5. If you look at our players' valuation, this is significantly above what their valuation is. That's quite good for us. I mean, like him, we'll take that and we'll ask for them 500,000 straight up. I don't think that's enough. I want at least that. I mean, not really. That's not really enough either, is it? That's not really enough either. We'll go 4.5 for him. We'll ask for... I'm not happy really with any of those offers. Okay, so now they've offered 500,000 straight up. That's good for him. We've got slightly more now for our goalkeeper. Can we reject that one? And now we're going to ask for... Let's go 950. So we've had an offer for our backup striker. I might take this. If we go 500 up front, let's go with that. I mean, we'll take it. I want to offer him out now for 1 million straight up and transfer list him. So there is your financial summary for the year. We've got some stuff going up there, which is good. New scout budget is in. And most important, look at this. Our bank balance is finally in some positive. That's all good news. Nobody's gone yet, by the way. It's only 9th of June here. Apparently, Freddy Layson has dropped his concerns about the club's present financial situation. He acknowledges the club's financial situation has improved recently. I didn't know that some players were worried about that or complaining about it, so I had concerns. Repair the club's financial damage. I'll tell you, round of applause. Round of applause for the Moneyball system here. We've done such a good job already. But basically, all we did was just sell a few players and didn't sign anybody and had a half-decent season, which is quite impressive, I guess. Yeah, Rui Faria. Not had any offers yet, by the way. He's not had any offers from anybody. I'll tell you what, though, on that note, what I should probably do quickly is look at some managers to go on our shortlist in case we look to move on from him or he gets signed by somebody else. Okay, so the first manager that I think we can take a look at here is Diego Martinez. Diego Martinez plays 4-2-3-1 with wing play tactical style. His play mentality is adventurous, pressing style balanced. That's your snapshot of Diego Martinez. Now, he's currently the manager of Boca Juniors here. So he's currently finished second with them. He's got them keeping the ball pretty well. Let's have a look at some of the other stats. Have they got what's the defensive stats like? Let's see. Would he be any better defense? How much worse would he be defensively? I mean, obviously, this doesn't tell you the whole story because different teams, different leagues and all that kind of, so there's so many things you can go into. It's ridiculous. But just as a snapshot, let's just take a look. XG against, best in the league. I've got to be honest, he looks like a really nice, logical next step if he was to leave Boca and we was to lose our manager, he looks like he's still got some of the defensive traits as the previous manager that we would have, but slightly better on the ball and maybe more creating chances. I know Boca obviously are in a completely different situation to us, but yeah, Diego Martinez, I think, goes in. Okay, so this is the list we've been able to put together so far. Those will be our potential options if we were to lose our manager. But again, for right now, I'm not really too worried. And again, this will end up just being like a database, really, of managers. That we've got 4 right now. I'm not anticipating needing to remove the manager until the very least of the end of next season. We've got plenty of time to scout and search for more managers. But for now, they'll go on as the first 4, as it were, going onto the list. In case anything happens, maybe we lose our manager too. Who knows? If we do so well, somebody wants our manager. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so we do actually move up 12 places to 80th in the new European club rankings. So that's quite interesting to see that we've actually improved in that. Okay, so our first player is out the door. Kevin Rodriguez leaves for £4.2 million. Well, no, sorry, it's more than that, but we get £4.2 million of it in transfer budget. So that's really good news because our transfer budget well up, and we'll just get this knocked back down to about, or let's go with that. Yeah, get us 20 grand a week in the wages. And give us opportunity to maneuver stuff around. Okay, so now we've got the money in. Let's go and offer some contracts out. So Murillo's available on a free transfer. That's quite a bit of wages he wants there. Can we get you on for like, I don't know, relegation fee release clause of like, I don't know, 250, minimum fee release clause of like 5 million. We take that on 2.5. No, how about 2.7? I don't want to pay anything that starts with a 3 for him, really. I just don't think that he's worth it. I mean, maybe that. Okay, we'll take that. Then Bialik, the striker's next. This will be an interesting one. What can we get him for? Let's see what his opening offer is. What does he want? Oh, he wants like 8.5. I mean, we are selling quite a few players on quite substantial wages. I feel like that. I think 5,000. I think this is the maximum that we want to be giving out really this year. You can have a bit of money. You can have a bit of extra signing on fee and agent fee because we're not actually going to be paying any transfer fee for him. Let's try that. No, let's then cap this at this time. We'll make sure we lock that in. So we'll take that. Okay, so 5,700 a week he'll take. And then it's Mateus as well that we could potentially bring in. Could be some really useful signings here. If we go for like 2.9, let's try and cap it at 2.9. Let's see what he demands beyond that. Or he's had enough of it. He's had enough. He's absolutely had enough of them in negotiations. He's walked out. He stormed out. He's had enough. Right, okay. So back to the positions then. So let's start off with, I think, attacking central field players, right? We've got a few here that I like the look of. So Farioli was one of them. Let's go $500,000 for him for now. Martin Campos is another. We can try and offer like maybe 500 for. See if we can get this. See what they want really for them. And Carl's back. Let's just go 250 and see if they'll do that. So I've just gone through basically the players that we can get on a free transfer. I've just gone and offered them contracts first. Seems the most logical thing to do. And then we've gone straight for the central field players first for actually having to pay money. I mean, I'm not getting anywhere near enough money for him. I'm just going to keep him. He's central field player. We'll just keep him. If teams are going to take the piss, we'll just keep him for another year. Okay, so managed to get 2 offers accepted. Facundo Leiva, the left back, we've got 500 grand all up front for him. We get an offer of 1.9. I mean, you think that by the low amount of money and the amount of wages he's willing to take, you think that maybe it's not going to be that maybe his stats are outperforming his ability as a player. But I don't care if he's hitting the stats. I mean, we're going to give it a try because we need an attacking left back, bro. We desperately need one. So him coming in, you can tell by his positions there, right? He's more of an attacking left-sided player. He can play left midfield and left wing as well. Farioli here is going to come in on, I think, it's like an artificial wage cap I'm putting on 5,750 because just based off of the fact that we've had players on close to this that are not playing at all. So you want to take that? You'll take that. Okay, that's good. 10% of the next fee, which is not ideal, but if it keeps the wages down, that might mean that we can get enough players in other positions, right? So that's good. But then let me have an extra scout. That's good, I guess. So Carl's back. They want to whack this percentage on absolutely no chance. We'll go back in for him in a second and remove that. Okay, so they've accepted an offer for Carl's back. Let's try and get him on 3.9. No percentage of the next sale, though. Okay, we'll take that. That's fine. So Martin Campos have accepted, I think, 1.2 up front this is. So we're going to go for 3.9. We'll tag that on. You can have 5% of your wage rise if you want. So, okay, how about 10? And that's fine with me. That's good. Okay, getting some good offers for him now. So we'll go for 3.5. We'll accept that. Then offer it back out for, let's go 3.9. Okay, we've got 3.9. That's good. We'll accept that. Then we'll offer him out for 4.5. Okay, so Chanak's a non-starter. They want like 9 million for him. It's just never going to happen, is it? So for the wingers, if we do need to bring in a winger, It's not going to be him, unfortunately for us. Has anybody else offered him a contract? No, just us. That's good. I guess that's good news for us. Okay, so these offers have managed to get sent out. I'm going to just click through now. We're going to skip through, I think, towards the start of the season, and I'll come back and let you know how I managed to get on with all the negotiations. But you've seen most of the stuff here that we've tried. We've currently got these players looking on the way out. So you've got 4.3 here and another million here. We're actually quite a bit of money coming in, which is really good. Finances currently is £3.3 million. Transfer debt is currently set at this. So before I sign like a single player, this is what you're seeing here, is the transfer budget is 7.2, wage budget is 137. That's the debt and the transfer debt right there. Projections looking like that. And yeah, we'll see what we can do here with all these players. The players that are basically scheduled to go out will be the remaining ones that go out, and that'll probably be it. And yeah, we'll see what we can do. We need at least one goalkeeper, probably two, which is going to be an additional challenge for us to get for a good value of money as well. But okay, I'm going to go away now. Going to try and make some transfers, and I'll come back at the start of the next season. I will come back and see which players we were actually able to go on and sign. So unfortunately, some bad news. Bialik has signed a new contract with his current club. I'm actually pretty gutted about that. I thought he was going to join us. So yeah, pretty gutted about that. I thought we were going to get a really good player in terms, I mean, on a free transfer too, right? It wasn't just the fact he fit the stats. It was the fact that he was gonna be a free transfer. So it's fortunate we didn't get him, but I guess we move on. Okay, it is the most wonderful time of the year. It is time for the Moneyball transfer window and the Moneyball recruitment section of the season. So let's have a look and see what business we're able to do in the transfer window. First of all, the players on the right, those are your players out totaling £12.25 million. And there's a couple of players actually at the back end of last season. They're classed as last season's players up. Actually, there's a few players there. And in fact, there's a few players there, though, that are players out for this season too, but they just classed as the last season. So players in then. Start off with a free transfer. Ewell and Murillo comes in. The pivot player we looked at on a free transfer was really a really cost-effective signing for us, costing us absolutely nothing. And the coaches rate him as a 2.5-star player. That's what they rate him as. That's what they rate him as in terms of the first team squads. Looks like a pretty good player. Fit the stats, didn't he? And yeah, he comes in. The next signing is Facundo Leiva. Facundo Leiva was the left back that we signed and looked like he was going to be a really, really good attacking left back, but also had the good defensive stats too. He comes in for just £500,000 all up front. That is some really good signing. £2,400 per week. So a really good cost-effective signing. Good value on not just the transfer fee, but the wages too, which is something that I think is really important judging by our projections of the finances for this year. Diego Hernandez comes in for £250,000 centre-back, again from Colombia. 2,100 per week, so quite cheap. Maybe we haven't quite got the elite level player, but he's a really good developer. He's a really good piece for the season. Probably isn't a first choice player, but a good piece to the puzzle and a good squad player. Next on it is João Gonçalves from Portugal. He looks like he's going to be our starting goalkeeper for a significant period of time. The coaches think that he's a starting level player, so he looks like he could be a really good signing. There are a few actually quite big clubs that are in for him. When I went to sign him, he's only 23 years old. He's got a release clause of £18 million. I mean, if somebody comes in and bids £18 million all up front for him, I think I'd take it anyway for any player in the squad. So yeah, he comes in, going to be first choice goalkeeper. Hopefully we see an improvement at the goalkeeper position too. Brian Farioli comes in. He comes in for, how much was it again? £1.8 million. £1.8 million he comes in for. A really, really good attacking midfield player. Again, going back to last season, we looked to the metrics of the central midfield players and realised that the team wasn't creating as much because of the lack of production at central midfield. I fully expect and I bloody hope that the manager selects him at central midfield because that's where we've selected him. That's where we've purchased him to play. I'm hoping the manager doesn't decide to play him on the wing, but he could play on the wing, he could play as a striker, but he's been brought in to be that central midfield player, being left-footed, to be an ideal player on the left-footed central midfield position. I'm really, really hopeful that he's going to be a star player for us for the next year or two. Does he have a release clause? He does not have a release clause in his contract, so good signing, I think, there. Brian Ceballos comes in as a centre-back, comes in for £650,000. I just think he's going to be a bit of a backup centre-back. He's like the next in line. I'd expect him to be the third centre-back in the team, I suppose. Although it would mean that my current two first choice centre-backs are left-footed, which, I mean, some managers just don't like that. So we'll see if the manager plays two left-footed players or plays him. But I think he's a little bit closer to having... I think that having him in there is really good because you've got three centre-backs now that are very close together in their ability. And apparently our coaching staff think that he's got room to improve too. So good signing, I think, as well. Good cost-effective signing. 3,700 a week in wages, which is pretty good. Martin Campos signed for £1.3 million. Campos can play in the middle, can play wide too. Again, is left-footed, by the way, so that's going to be something interesting to watch out for. Yeah, could be a really good signing for us. £3,900 per week in wages. His valuation is already above what we sort of paid for him, or it's pretty close, at 1.3. So yeah, there you go. Hopefully it's a good signing, and he can play all across the front positions, which is really useful for us too, except for striker. Ivan Chapela is the winger that we looked at, had really good conversion ratio and things like that, right? And he scored a few goals too. I'm really excited about him. He comes in for, what was it, £950,000, less than £1 million for a wide player with good conversion ratio, good shots on target. Really excited about this transfer. I hope the manager plays him. We've only had one game off of camera that was a Europa League qualifier first leg, so we've had one semi-competitive game because the team pretty much did. We've had one competitive game so far, and we did win that game, and I'll talk about that in a second. But he did play that game, did play well. I'm excited for this. Matthias Ayes was the striker on a free transfer that we signed. We did eventually get him on a free transfer, so he joins us on a free depth player. Probably not going to play too much from the start, but yeah, free transfer in a team that needs to save money. So there we are. Mariano joins us for £950,000. He was a winger. Probably looks like he's going to be on more of the backup end of the spectrum, but could play as an attacking wing back in an emergency too. So again, thinking back to players that are, we're going to have quite a small squad. The manager only uses a small number of players anyway. We also don't have too many homegrown players, so we're going to have a smaller squad for the European competitions. So somebody that can play on the wing, can play left wing, can play central midfield, and can play right back too. It gives the manager a lot of options to choose from if he needs to play players in other positions due to injury. So good signing. Less than £1 million and less than £3,000 per week. Daniel Carlsbach, one of the first wingers that appeared on the list. He's going to join us for, what's he going to join us for here? £1.4 million, 6'4" winger that can play striker. Again, being a very useful piece for us because he can play on the wing or can play striker too. I'm not sure whether the manager's going to play him, but could be a really effective player going into the final parts of the season. I think that he's going to be looked at as the replacement for Rodriguez, right? Rodriguez was the 6'3" winger that was really effective and scored a lot of goals. Hopefully he's the replacement, but we sold Rodriguez for over £5 million and we've signed him for 1.4. So if he comes in and even just gets 10 goals a season, as opposed to Kevin Rodriguez's 13, that's already probably a good signing considering that he cost us, or we've spent about a fifth of the money on him, right? So I'm happy about this. Really good signing, effective signing, and he's young too, so all good. And last but not least, probably my favourite signing of the entire window, or he's definitely up there with a couple, Matheus Pereira comes in for £925,000, less than £1 million, right? And the coaches absolutely love him, but what really impressed me is when I went to get him, very, very late on, Borussia Dortmund, among many other clubs, tried to come in and get him, which tells me that he must be a very, very, very good player. And we've just got him from an absolute bargain. I've sort of made an artificial cap that I spoke about during the summer that you would have seen with me, $5,750 per week. I tried to keep everybody on that or below. That was like an artificial, I guess, salary cap for me in my head of like just looking at the fact that the amount of money we lost last year, the amount of money we're likely to lose again this year, I wanted to try and minimize that as much as I could, and getting the average wage down is very, very important, I think, for us. Matheus Pereira wasn't a player that I was really planning on signing after we signed Lever at left back. I was happy to go with just one left back. It meant after that signing that Fede Leison was never going to have to play left back. He's probably going to be a centre back. So what that allowed me to do is it allowed me to then sell Sykes for £1 million straight up. So we brought in a left back for less than £1 million, sold a centre back we weren't going to use for £1 million. Well, I presume we weren't going to use. I wouldn't have used him, but I guess the manager might have had his own ideas. But that gives you pretty good depth in the squad there. I think you've got a lot of players that can play more than one position, which is really important for this kind of save. We might even have one centre-back too many. We probably could have got away with just having three, but I'd already signed the other ones, right? Like, you look at this, you think that Diego Hernandez probably isn't required. So, like, going forwards, I probably would have just gone with those two left-backs, and we've got Kevin McAllister at right-back, right? He is the first-choice right-back, and there isn't really a notable player to play there if he's out. But Noah, the youngster that we tried to sell but didn't get a good offer for, he can play right back. And I've just made him train to learn to play right back. So the AI manager knows that if McAllister's out, Noah is a second option now to play right back. He gets him some minutes too. And hopefully gets his valuation up enough that we can sell him. And it's something that actually Ian Graham in How to Win the Premier League in the book, they talk about doing this with a few players, that trying to give certain players minutes towards the end of the season to try and increase their value so they can sell them for a higher amount. And the player reference was Andy Carroll, actually, in that specific example that he uses when he spoke to Brendan Rodgers, and they tried to encourage him to play him for this reason. But yeah, anyway, that is your team for the season. These grayed out players, I think, will go in a second. I don't know where they're there, but they should be gone pretty soon. We've got enough players to pick from. But that's your squads. I mean, is it better? I mean, if it's sideways, the squad, and we finish roughly the same, but we've then made ourselves £8 million in the process, that's probably a positive still, right? And eventually we'll get it right. But that's your projection. This is what I was speaking about, right? I'll just get myself out the way a little bit more. It's not looking great, is it? It's not looking great at all. The new European format is out, though, so if we get into the Europa League group stage, we'll have 8 guaranteed Europa League games as opposed to the 6. And on top of that, and obviously, because of the new format, we don't need to just aim for top 2 places. We've got multiple places we can finish to try and get ourselves in, which makes it a lot easier. If things don't go disastrously bad, I would expect it to be a guaranteed 10 games in the Europa League as opposed to the 6 we got last year. So that's a lot more money coming into the club. So getting into the top 6 again, finishing in a European place domestically, and finishing and getting through the group phase and getting through the league phase of the Europa League would be a positive, productive season. Productive is the word I would use. Now, a good season for this season, I think, would be to do something similar, but then challenge the title quite close. A very, very good season would be something similar to that, but then winning maybe a domestic trophy. And then an absolutely brilliant season would be to win the league or to get ourselves maybe through to the semi-finals of the Europa League, whichever one of those. And perfection would be to win both, of course. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, that's your sort of snapshot of my expectations of the season and how I hope the team to perform. So we'll see how the team goes throughout the year. But that's your team. And we're going to start off then with the first game of the season. We're going to play Standard Liège away. Let's take a quick look at the season preview just to see where they are. Standard Liège are expected to finish 9th. We're expected to finish 7th. So it's a mid-table clash right off the bat here. But no, I'm excited to see this. I'm excited to see exactly what we're going to do here. Really excited to see how we go with the season. But let's get into it. Let's get into the first game, first league match anyway. We beat AGF in the Europa League from Denmark. We beat them 2-0 away. I mean, I don't know if we'll watch the game at home. I'm probably just going to skip past it because we're 2-0 up from the first leg and we're at home. I expect it will go through, so I probably won't show the second leg. But watch this game together here against Standard Liège. We'll see how this game goes, and yeah, we'll go from there. So let's watch this game. First game of the season with our first game with our Moneyball team. One thing I will probably just quickly note that I did say, I think earlier in the episode, maybe at the end of the last one, that I didn't anticipate to change the team loads based on how I would normally play because I was expecting maybe 3 signings, maybe 4, that was it. But it became quite clear that the absolute lack of money the club had, we almost had to keep selling. Like, really, Kevin Rodriguez and Lazar Armani, I didn't want to sell. And Armani, I only sold Armani because he has 1 year left on his contract and he's refusing to sign a new one. And I'd rather sell him now for 4.4 than to keep him for half a season and maybe lose him on a free. Like, I just felt like that was a better move to do. So we probably, and then Sykes was sold because we signed Pereira, and I didn't think that was going to be possible for the value, for the price that I wanted to sign him for. So you've probably got an extra 3 players sold there that I didn't really want to do. That was sort of like forced into, and which we probably signed 3 extra players. So the turmoil was a little more than I hoped. So there's quite a big chance that the team stats won't match up as much as we'd like. What my hope was last year was that we'd have that sort of defensive structure of the team, and then we could add little bits to it to make it better in possession without losing the out of possession stuff. But in reality, it's quite a new team across the board. And let's see what team he picks. Let's see what team the manager picks and see how many new players that he puts in there. But here we go. First game of the season. Let's see how we do against Standard Liège. Here we go then, first game of the season. I'm excited to see how the new Moneyball team does. This is actually our team, right? That's why this is different. This is different now, because this really is more our team that we've put out there. The players that remain because we've asked them, well, we want them to. This is our first team, right? Let's have a look. So new goalkeeper is always going to happen. McAllister, Lace, and Makita. So the first 3 outfield players that we see from right to left are all existing players. Matthias Pereira is the first outfield player that is new. So that is 2 technically with the goalkeeper. Sadiki's an existing player, so is Puerta, so is Rasmussen. So there's only 2 players in this whole section here that are brand new, and that's the goalkeeper and the left back. Then you've got Lever, the backup left back. He's playing left wing. He's gone with Ferreira. He's playing him wide. I didn't want him to play wide. I didn't want him to do that. He's kept him more up front. So a lot of the existing players he's decided to go with for this year, which is quite interesting. But it's up to him. His choice, his team, you know. I've got nothing to say about it until the results go bad. So let's see how we get on. Early set piece for the opponents. They're going to take a shot from distance. It's never... Oh, they played it short. It's just gone straight through. Not a great start from the goalkeeper, and it's going to be 1-0 Standard Liège. Not good. Like, if I was playing the game myself and I had the squad that our manager's got, I would not have picked this team at all. I don't like the Laver selection at left wing. I'm not liking that at all. Like, I brought him so many good attacking central field players, and he's playing one of them on the wing, and the rest of them he's just left on the bench to play his existing battlers that were in there last year. I mean, Puertas is great. I don't mind him playing Sadiki as a pivot, then Puertas at centre mid, but I'd expect maybe then he could have played the current right winger at left central field, but no inverted fullback yet, or inverted wing back in the back line either, which is interesting. Okay, so Cave's scoring, it's going to be whipped in, it's going to be played across Sadiki. What is he doing? What are we doing here, lads? Oh, it's gone in. I thought there was a highlight before this. I thought it was over. It's a corner. It's gone, flicked to the back post. It's going to be in. It's going to be 2-0. Okay, he's brought on Carl's back off the bench. He's put him as a wide target man, by the looks of it. Yeah, I've not been impressed with this performance of the manager at all. I mean, I'm really not impressed with this. It's not a defeat. It's the selections he's done, and then, you know, same old lack of creativity from the team. It's not good. It's going to be a defeat, first game of the season. I'm not impressed with this from the manager. You better pick this up, because that has really not impressed me at all. And finishes 2-0 to Standard Liège. Yeah, quick review of the stats here. Let's have a look. Actually, it wasn't great. I mean, possession, we're not too far behind on that. Ball share was close as well. Yeah, I'm just not really sure why we're doing that. I'm just looking. So in the game before, maybe it was a tiredness thing, because Carlsbach did play the game before in Europe on the left wing. He started him left wing. He played Matthias Berra left back. See, that team looks a lot better. He even played Campos. That was a completely different team that he played against them in Europa League. So let's give benefit of the doubt. Let's come back for the Anderlecht game and let's see if he does the same thing again. We'll skip the game midweek, and I assume we're going to get through. But okay, so we did win 3-1 in the second leg against AGF, putting ourselves through to I think that puts us through to the group stage, doesn't it? Oh no, we've got another qualifier. We've got another qualifier to go against St. Gallen now. We'll probably skip that one as well. We'll just watch the Anderlecht game here. AGF, we beat them 3-1. Let's see who picked. He picked Carlsbach back on the left-hand side and kept the midfield there the same. Played Marina, the backup pivot player. So he's actually getting some use out of the squad right now, which is quite good to see. A lot of rotation going on here, which is quite interesting. But Matthias Pereira is starting at left back every time, which is good. And Moore is still the starting striker, which is, I mean, it's up to him, I guess, the manager for now. Okay, Anderlecht away. Let's see how we get on. Right, I want to see a better team selection first of all. Let's get to team selection. So we've got Laver at left wing again. I'm not happy. I'll tell you what, if he loses this game, there's some pressure building already. I know it's harsh, but like, I'm not happy with the team selection. Because his style of football has got a big flaw, and we've sort of half solved it, I think, for him. He's not even, he's not playing the catcher at first base, is he, from the film? He's just not doing it, and they've scored a set piece, and yeah, it's not a great start to the season. I mean, it's good in Europe, but okay, play it straight into the left wing, and we've given the ball away. I think Matthias Pereira went inverted a little bit there, which is interesting to see. They're going to play the ball into midfield, play out to the left wing now. We've got our back line deep in the area, and that's going to be a penalty. He's given a penalty for it. Puertas has gone and just given him the business in the area, and that's going to be a penalty. Penalty's been taken by Kasper Dolberg, shoots, and he tries a Penenka, and he's absolutely ballsed it up, and it's going to stay 1-0. Puertas whips it in. It's going to be cleared away. Puertas plays it into Sadiki. Plays into McAllister. McAllister beats the man. He's going to get a shot. Wait, oh, there's a goal. Give it McAllister. Playing like absolute prime Dani Alves. Beats the man. Goes through and whips it into the far post. That is 1-1. Come on, boys. Manager's been absolutely saved by Kasper Dolberg. He doesn't even play for us. I have a feeling that Noel Lopez was somebody that I signed with Paris FC at some point, or at least in a Moneyball save that I did. So they've got some Moneyball players in their team. Players that tend to do pretty well as they play an absolute... Oh, former player plays a horrendous ball. Puertas. Give it McAllister. Give it McAllister. Oh, he's well offside. I guess the one thing is maybe the manager thinks that he's playing against two decent sides here. He's playing against 5 at the back both sides. I don't know if that's any bearing on his selection at all. He's taken off more. He's put on the backup striker that as they nearly score. I mean, I'm really not convinced by this manager's selections and decisions right now. Very perplexing. I did hire. Oh, you're joking. I mean, I was just about to say I did hire a set piece coach in the summer, and they've scored from 2 set pieces. I haven't double checked if he's actually doing the set pieces of the assistant manager. If he's not doing it, I'll make sure that the set piece coach is doing it. And if the set piece coach is doing it, I might have to sack him already, because he's joined, and all of a sudden we just concede relentlessly to set pieces. So it's a late highlight here. 80 minutes gone. Long goal kick goes up. It's coming straight back to us. They've got their 3-5-2. They're doing us with it really here. They play it into the striker's feet. They whip it in behind here. We don't get back to it, and absolutely pings one in. That's 3. It's probably game over. So the team finishes with a 3-1 defeat to Anderlecht away. Not a good start at all to the season. Okay, to finish off, what we'll do is we will skip through and see if we did qualify for Europe, and also I'll give you a bit of an update on how things have gone. So I'll skip past these couple of games here, and we'll see if we did get ourselves through to the next round. And I'll keep going basically until we get through to the group stage or we get knocked out, and then we'll end the episode there, I think. And maybe we should, tell you what, maybe we should end what we'll do is I'll keep going for that reason, but also to end the transfer window. As soon as we get to the end of the summer transfer window, just in case we get like a huge offer for somebody, and then I have to try and replace them, so I can do that all on camera too. So we'll just go through to the end of September and see how things are looking and if anything happened in terms of transfers. So we're coming up to the end of the transfer window. Did the manager turn it around and get us back towards top of the league? And did he get us into the Europa League group stage? No, he didn't. He lost almost every game. We are currently in the relegation area. We're out the Europa League, but we are into the Conference League, which, I mean, the one positive with that, right, is at least we've got a good chance of winning it. What you would expect. I mean, I guess you don't know now. But, yeah, not great at all. Again, not scoring goals. I'm getting a bit concerned early on with the team's performances. I don't know whether, if this continues, to force him to play a couple of players, like to force him to play Farioli in central field, like the way he was bought to play. He was bought to play in central field, or to just potentially look for a new manager. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think we should do? Do you think that we should start to try and force him a little bit, or should we just look to say, you've had your chance, you're done? Yeah, not great. Average possession, we are currently 15th. Let me get out of the way of this. Average possession, we are 15th, right? 15th for that. Let's have a look at some attacking metrics here. Non-penalty expected goals, we are dead last. That can't be right. That cannot be right. We've created 2.70 non-penalty expected goals in 5 matches. I mean, granted, we played a game less than everybody else, pretty much, except for, SCVV. But, I mean, that is absolutely disgraceful. Manager, you're in trouble, mate. You are in serious trouble. I'm just going to click through and end the transfer window just to make sure we don't actually sell anybody and that kind of stuff. And I'll probably holiday past that game there. So we'll get to see one more result together before the episode is over. But this is not looking good at all, is it? I mean, he's just drawn against the worst team in the league. The team that's like rock bottom. We created more XG in that game. We did create a lot of chances, but we didn't score any. And we scored with the centre-back, which I guess is from a set piece. But, things are just absolutely not looking good. Let's just see the team selection again. What did he play here? To be fair to him, in this game, when we created more chances, look at that. He's playing the two new central midfield players together, and we created loads more chances. So that's interesting. Maybe let's give him a bit of time. Maybe he's starting to get the hang of it, and he's realising himself that what the situation is for him. I sort of don't want to end this episode until we've seen more. I tell you what, mate, what we'll do is we'll end the transfer window, and I'll go all the way up to the Celta Vigo game. So we'll start off the next episode with the Celta Vigo game. So I'll go all the way up to it so you can see the end of this month with me. So we'll pretty much end September together here. Okay, so a quick update then for the month of September. September, we went undefeated, but we only won 1 game. At least we're getting harder to beat. But yeah, you've got 3 draws and a win to finish it off with a red card as well. That leaves us currently 12th in the table. It's really not been great as it so far. I just want to go back and look at... I've not looked at this off camera or anything. I just want to see the... actually, that's exactly what I was on. Non-penalty XG. So we're back up to 12th now for that. We're getting better. Non-penalty XG per 90 there. I mean, are we at least doing good defensively? We're getting unlucky with the goals we're conceding. XG against, we're pretty good defensively still, but we're just getting a bit maybe unlucky with the goals we've conceded. We should have conceded 10, and we've currently conceded 11, but 7 goals scored is just horrendous. 3rd worst in the entire division. But so look at the team that he selected for this game. He's got Carlsbach on the left as a start. He's playing Farioli at left central field. It's like he can hear us, It's like he can hear us speaking. He's playing the player that he needs to play in central field. These 2 are the partnership to go for. He can play whoever he wants behind it, but these are the 2. Or play Puertas here and play somebody else here. But that's the way to go. This is all fine. Pereira's definitely the one to go for there. Lever's come on off the bench and score, which is good to see as well. That's pretty good. And he's got that's the other player that he should be starting to. He's actually getting the right team out, I think, now that he should be playing. Which I'm glad I have to step in and do that. But I was going to do this in the next episode. I sort of want to see how he develops over October. So we're going to watch this game together now. We're going to watch the Celta Vigo game because it's our first game in the UEFA Europa Conference League. So I want to watch this game together and see how we get on in this and see the kind of team that he's selected and see how the team's playing. They've had a slightly better September. Maybe they're getting slightly better and used to his ways of playing, the new players. But let's see how we get on against Celta Vigo. So it's 4-3-3. He's got Farrelly back on the wing, but he's got Rasmussen and Puertas. Okay. I mean, I don't mind it for a European game because I think what we've clearly done as well, every time we play a game in Europe, we seem to lose the very next game. The rotation's not good. But this time round, he's got Layson playing left back. What I'm expecting is that then we'll play... Puertas is suspended for the next game anyway, right? So Puertas is suspended so he can play this game. I'm expecting then to see Pereira back at left back, fully fresh for the next game. And I'd expect to see Leva come off the bench at left wing maybe, if the manager sort of... if he's doing what I expect him to do. Okay, first half of the game is nearly half an hour in. We're still playing our Mourinho-esque football, which is fine. As long as we're getting results, it's fine. But we're not getting results right now. And they whack it out to the wing. They're going to play across goal. Layson should have got to that, really. Play across goal. They shoot. It goes over the bar. Interesting role selections for this game. He's gone away from his inverted wing back and inverted fullback quite a lot, it seems like. There's a corner. Puertas is going to take the corner. He's going to whip it in towards the near post area. It's headed away. Noah gets it, plays it into the striker, and he scores, and it's going to be 1-0 from a second phase set piece. Come on. We need the money, and it's a good chance to win the trophy. Come on. Like, quite clearly, the title and a title race is gone already. So the only way to have a successful season is to get back into the top 5, top 4, if we can, somehow get that close, and win a trophy of some sort. So having a good start here as well, it'll just give us a good platform, I think, for the next few matches. If we can win this one, win this first game, then give us a bit of confidence going into the next ones. We're undefeated for quite a long time now, don't forget. I'm starting to have a little bit of hope that we're going to do this, as in we're going to turn it around and have another good month in October, and we'll end the video, I think, first week in November, we'll end the video there and see where things are looking, and we'll save everything else for the next episode. Because next episode then we'll have like November fixtures, December fixtures, and then the January transfer window. This is the first highlight of the second half, believe it or not. I mean, I love it. I absolutely love the fact that we're doing this. As long as we win, there you go. Now we're not winning. Oh, it's a draw. It's going to be a draw if things stay as they are. It's 1-1. And I wouldn't mind us even doing this and not winning all the time. I think what annoyed me the most was that we were playing like this, losing, and then he wasn't selecting the players where he should be selecting them for the Moneyball system to work. That was the most annoying thing. As we draw 1-1 in our opening game in Europe this year, we draw 1-1 in our first ever game at the club in the UEFA Europa Conference League. So we'll come back and we'll see how things are looking after the rest of the fixtures in October. I have concluded there's 3 league matches, 1 European game, and a cup game to get through. Hopefully we've done the business and the manager's turned it around. But let's see what happens. Okay, so it's been the month of October that is now passed. How have things gone? And are we actually going to be in a relegation battle? We are still undefeated. Going from the whole month of September and October, we're undefeated. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. There's been, I think, just as many draws as wins. So it's not all hugely positive, but it's an improvement. It's definitely an improvement. We've also now got ourselves in a nice position in the European places. I'd expect us to get through in that, to be honest, with the way things have started. But you can see now a lot more consistency in the results and the performances. I know some people are going to tell me we've had all the easy games. You can only beat what's in front of you. So fair play to the manager. He's got himself back in there. The funny thing is, we're now 5 points off of 4th place. We're closer to 4th than we are to 13th. Which is really, really good for us. It's been a really good turnaround. I'm actually quite impressed with the turnaround from the manager. I started to lose a bit of hope in him, to be honest. Expected goals against, with the 4th best defensive record when it comes to expected goals against. Now, in possession, I've not looked at this yet. How are we doing for non-penalty expected goals? We'll go per 90. 10th, we've improved. Total 10th. That's actually not too bad. Total penalties, we're 11th. Okay, so it's definitely better. Net spend, how are we not bottom of that? That's incredible. Oh, they must have sold somebody for absolutely loads of money. Yeah, they did. There you go. Ernest there went for absolute shed load. I'm in the way. Absolute shed load of money right there. That's what happened there. What are the wages though? We're not bottom anymore, but because somebody's come up with, Patro Eisden, who managed to get the draw against us, they've got a team salary of 2.78 million, and they got a draw against us, and I'm in the way again. Yeah, Patro Eisden came up and they got a team salary of 2.78 million, so they managed to get a draw against us, and not great. Like, I just realised, is my bank balance? Oh, thank God for that. I thought it said in the minus. No, I think his projection is going to be wrong. I think we're going to be fine. because we've only lost them. We've lost 900 grand in 2 months. 800 grand in 2 months, I think is what we lost there. So, and we've got more European money to come. So I think we're going to be fine. Yeah, we've lost 800 grand in 2 months. Yeah, I think we're going to be fine. We've lost 800 grand in 2 months. And we've got more European money to come. I don't think we're going to be anywhere near what the projection says. I think we're going to be fine. And that transfer budget projection better be bloody wrong. So all I'm going to say right now is, so yeah, we need that to be a... What is this? What is this? What's going on here? How is it a minus? We're not that bad financial position. Well, if you wanted a Moneyball challenge, play as Union at SG. If you wanted a Moneyball challenge, play as Union, because it is difficult financially here. But I love it. It's good. It's good. The manager's doing the business. Like, he's getting the Mourinho results, isn't he? He's just when you think that things are going to go wrong, he just sort of claws it back, doesn't he? He just claws it back. He did this last season too, which is quite funny, really. But he's got a 3-year contract, hasn't he? So he's into... This is his second year. It's getting to the point where I'm thinking, about, do we renew it or not? Because is the grass going to be greener? You know, next year's his last year of his contract. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know right now. We'll see how the season plays out. Maybe he completely recovers it. I just want to see... Let's quickly see... together. Let's see if he's improved in his team selection. So Antwerp was here. So we haven't seen this game together. So he's basically played... I mean, we don't know who was injured for this game. Yeah, like, Moneyball was there. So, I mean, fair enough. That's what we played there. Then the next game where... So this is after the international break where everybody should have been completely fresh unless they were injured during international break. So that looks like that's his favourite team if everybody's fully fit. Maybe Pereira should have been left back. Maybe Pereira was out. So, but apart from Pereira not being at left back, that is his first team, and it is Farioli on the wing, unfortunately for us. But they did play well. They did play well in this game. Got good XG, created a lot of chances. So fair enough. Skip over the European game. The next league match was a 0-0 draw. And yeah, again, he loves this Rasmussen Puertas combination, doesn't he? I might just sell Rasmussen and then buy a winger or buy a nobody maybe, and then he's got to play the right winger. Oh no, he's not even playing it. He's not dropping him, is he? No, he's not even in the squad. That's fine. And then through to the next round of the cup as well, which is always good to see. I think that is going to conclude the episode. What a mammoth episode we had. We had all of the Moneyball scouting, all of the Moneyball transfer window and negotiations, finalising the transfers, and then the matches. The absolutely horrendous start to the season. I mean, going into September, we had one league win. We had one league win in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A lot of defeats, and then we drew against the worst team in the league on paper, and then drew another game at home, and then the other game. After this game, I was really worried because that's the kind of form that gets you relegated. And then beating Ghent probably was a huge result for us, and then turning it around here, the few good results too. But we've got some better teams coming, or teams in better form. It seems to have gone a bit out the window the season preview this year, but we've changed from 7th to 6th now. Well, we always 6th. I can't remember now. Maybe we were always there. But yeah, I mean, I don't even want to look at this. The fact that they drew against us, I mean, lads, what are we doing here? I mean, maybe we should hire their manager. Who is their manager? Stein. He plays wing play, plays 4-4-2, plays 4-4-2 diamond narrow, fortunately, so he's not going to be the one. But yeah, wow. What a episode. I really enjoyed that. It was really good fun. I was really genuinely worried at this point. I was like, wow, like, we could get... The good thing about playing in Belgium is you're never really relegated. You just go through to the relegation playoff, right? So you've always got a chance if you can turn it around later on. So if it was like the Premier League, I would have been seriously worried because, bottom 3 go down. But yeah, I mean, this is why. The team that got promoted with the lowest salary, we drew with them, and then we drew with this team at home, and they're currently rock bottom. So, like, that is some seriously bad results there. Like, we must have all the teams at the top come in here. 5th, 9th, 14th. Not really. 2nd. Do you know what? It's not too bad, actually. Do you know what? Going all the way up to the Genk games, going into January, we've actually got quite a few winnable games there. I can see us going on a bad run, but we can also go on a good run too with the fixtures that we've got there. So, yeah, hard to tell. When we come back next time, what I'll probably do is... probably won't watch. I don't know. Do you want to watch matches here? I don't know. There's not too many, especially the way the season's going. There's not too much really to watch, is there? But what I don't really want to do. Maybe, let's put it this way: would you rather, in this kind of situation, would you rather me just skip straight to January and just give you an update on what's happened, Or would you rather me start the next episode basically here, the same day, and then just give you an update once a month? So we'll start the episode, and then at the end of November, we just come back, have a quick talk, have a quick review. Or would you rather me just holiday the whole 2 months and then do an update, and then we look through the fixtures and the stats, etc. together? Let me know what you prefer out of those two, because I can do it either way. It doesn't really matter to me too much. Whichever way we do it. But yeah, I just want to keep playing this. Like, I just want to keep, and that's the best kind of save you've got for content, is when you just want to keep playing. I just want to keep playing and play all the way through. I have to try and restrain myself, because if I do that, I'll end up playing it just like too much, and I want to make sure that I'm fresh for when I do the actual videos. But yeah, I love this save. I just want to keep playing it. That's all I want to do, is keep playing it and see how fast we can turn this club around. But not a great start to the season. We did recover, and I think the best thing to look at, right, is the club finances are in great shape. Also, the amount of transfer budget we've got. Let's put some of this into wages right here. We've also got more than enough budget. So we could sign 2 first-team players, maybe 3, with the money that we've got. In fact, we need a bit of scouting budget here. What's going on? We need a bit of this going on as well. But yeah, we're in a really good financial position. So that in January, if we do find some players that are really good options, we can go and sign them. I almost definitely will sign players in January, because quite clearly this team isn't doing the business. And yeah, we'll look to move some players on. See, I mean, like, if I was to get 9 million for him, I would definitely sell him this season. Who else has got interest? Puertas has got interest. He wouldn't sign a new contract in the summer, but I just think he's too important. He's too effective to sell for like £2 million. But yeah, we'll see what happens, I guess. But anyway, that is going to do the episode. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate all the support on the series, and I hope everybody's enjoying it and the Moneyball save. I love this save. I can't wait to see what we do next and see if we can get that progression, get ourselves to the top of the league, and challenge, hopefully, for a European trophy this year. But we'll see how it goes. Long way to go. We could win a European trophy. We could be looking for a new manager. Anything's possible in this season, because it's so up in the air. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you all, of course, next time.